What's up, Rise and Grind crew from the Playing Field of Parenthood? Daniel Laurie, Alex Gomez, episode 31. We grinding today. We got some tired mamas. We film on Tuesdays, but the episodes come out Wednesday. Today's actually Audrey's ninth birthday, the last before you reach the double digits. And then it's just game over after that. And they get all these big old chomper teeth and they just look different. She still
Oh,
kind of looks, young. And then before you know it, they're just getting old and too big, too quick.
yeah. It's well, happy birthday, Odd.
Mm,
And Dom's is this month and he's turning 10. And I'm freaking out
mhm.
about that a little bit. It's that I'm like half and half. I've got two in double digits and two in not. And it's
Yeah.
I think the big thing, we had such a great episode last week. I'm still kind of like on that high, but I feel like there's so much going on in our lives right now that we're just like we're hanging on and we're making it work and we're doing what we do best, which is just grinding. But at the same time, I think one of the things we're both feeling right now, it's not like a true hangover, it's not like legitimate, like we're not drunk, but
Yeah.
it's like an emotional like fatigue hangover that we're in right now in that space. I don't know, that's kind of how I'm feeling today.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it used to be the weeks that felt like so consuming with getting them to sports and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found now with both of them playing, mind you, Maddie didn't have a whole lot going on this weekend, but like the weekends tend to feel so much harder. We made it harder on ourselves this weekend. We did a small little family friends birthday party for Audrey. We had the surprise in the works for the Benson Boone concert, but you're just on all the time. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not getting to sit up in my bonus room and just sit and watch a show for an hour by myself or decompress the way you need to decompress.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this was the first Saturday morning for me where I could actually like go and do like a Pure Barre class and could get up and be like, oh, nice. Like I can take an 8:30 class. I can go. Love that. Love a Saturday morning with like non-chaos. But then it
Right.
was like both girls had soccer games, get the house and everything ready for a good amount of people that we had like a barbecue thing. And since we're always so busy, I said to Audrey, like, I definitely want you to invite your friends, but I want you to invite your friends that were friends with their parents so we can all hang out and watch the Mariners game because I just feel like it's very rare that you get all the people you love in one space anymore because life is just so busy.
Yeah.
Um, so it was just, you're talking and you're on with that and then that damn concert. Not that Benson Boone listens to this, but like doors open at 7. Homeboy didn't come on till like 9:35.
Oof.
And we got these little girls and we're in our seats at like listening to the opener at 8 o'clock. And she sang for half an hour and then he didn't come on for like another hour 10. And I'm like, majority of the little girls in the audience are less than 10 years old, Benson. Don't like, think that everyone is a mom that
We're not
wants
all
you. It
adults.
is.
Yeah. No,
We
that he
got
has
little
he does
girls.
have a pretty wide audience too. Like,
Yes.
my kids love him. And so like I know that that's like a tough like maybe you offer both. Like maybe you offer like a 3 p.m. showtime.
Great. Even if he came on at 8 o'clock, that
Yeah.
would have been
Can
great.
we have
Like,
like a
cause
PG version and then you can go do your like late night
he's
version.
it was incredible though. I mean, dude put on a show.
Yeah.
I had tears in my eyes listening to the song of like him talking about his grandma and then his family because his family is there in the audience. And I'm like, it's a 23-year-old kid that
Huh?
started out on American Idol
Right?
playing in his hometown with over 15,000 people here. It was cool. I'm not much of a concert person. I don't love being in ginormous crowds. That shit kind of freaks me out a little bit, but this was actually a really cool experience. I did not mind it. I and seeing Audrey and Ava's face, her little buddy, when we surprised them, it was just, I don't know, it's hard to surprise anyone these days. So it
And
was so
like
cute.
and for them to like you always worry like how are they going to react? How are they going to actually be excited or are they going to be like, "Oh, this is cool, thanks." But you could tell like in that video like she was
It was so cute. It
yeah.
was so cute. But I had posted something on social media over the weekend, or maybe yesterday. I forget what day it is. Today's Tuesday, Wednesday for the listeners. But where just because it like kind of hit me, where I'm like, dude, I feel like we're just going and going and going and just trying to get through the days and trying to get all the things done. But in all reality, it's like I look back on when we played, and it does go by really quick when you're in college, right? Like that time spent when you're actually like stamping in and stamping out is
Mhm.
quick. So it's like it hit me where I'm like, I feel like I need to be more intentional about enjoying the chaos and the hard and the moments that we are in as a family and our children are in the youth sports stuff, right? Because
Mhm.
it catches up to you where it just feels like it's not fun anymore. And it's not that it's not fun. I just think sometimes as a parent, you kind of get that like, dude, I feel burnt out because I'm going and going and going. But in all reality, like that's your life. Like this is where we are at. And I was actually texting with Coach Tar today, and she was like, I miss you. I feel like I haven't seen you in a really long time. And we have alumni weekend this weekend at Washington. So I'm going to go. We have a couple players staying at my house and I can't wait. But I was like, we're just like so in the like grind, the trenches of the youth sports stuff. And she goes, I
Yeah.
know, but I could be more intentional with like trying to, see my people. And then I flipped it and I'm like, but that's also where you're at. Like UW softball is like your family. Those are your girls. Those are your babies. Like your time and energy and everything that you pour into them is what makes teams successful, right? So it's like the time that you spend with that is similar to the time that we as parents invest in these kids on a daily basis. And so, yeah, it's just been like trying to process all of that and still want to fill our bucket. So we're doing a great job as parents to be able to continuously give to them on another level. You know what I
So
mean?
that we're not on empty all the time. No, for sure. It's one of those things where like you Mike calls it Groundhog Day because it's like we
Mm.
have these routines, we have these, the practices and the schedules and the calendars and color coordinated and all these things. And it's like you're just going, going, going. And like all of a sudden you look up and you're like, shit, like birthdays and like holidays are passing and like
Yeah.
you get into like autopilot mode, which it is what I feel like I'm in, but it's like a survival technique. Like
Yeah.
you just kind of like shut it all out and you're just like, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna get it done. Like it's just gonna, and all of a sudden you look up and it's like how much time has passed and like have I like hugged my kid today? Like have I like spent time like talking to them and like seeing how they're doing? I make it a big point to like talk, like I pick up the boys and I ask them each, like, what's one thing that you love today? What's one thing that you didn't? Like, I try and be specific and like have the
Yeah.
conversation, but I'm like, did I actually like look at them today? Like, did I
Yeah.
actually like take a moment to like soak that in? And it's like, it's heartbreaking because it goes so fast and like they're growing so quickly. Like, we went and we unplanned, we never go out to eat because it's chaos. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just I would much rather eat here and just let them play and like tear the house apart than have to
Yeah.
like handle that in public. And our good friends who also have three kids and they are probably more busy than we are because each of their kids does like three sports.
Mm.
Yeah. And like they randomly invited us to go eat dinner with them. And we were like, normally I'm exhausted. It's a Friday night, the end of the week. We have early game times on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I told Mike and he's like, let's just go. And we went, and their kids and our kids were, screaming and making a mess. And there was nobody really else where we were sitting. But it was like, it was so nice to just have an adult conversation
Yeah.
where it's like, I haven't seen Mike all week because we're constantly switching places. I haven't
Yeah.
seen or had a conversation with like a girlfriend other than you every week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think that's the most I do right now is like, these are my interactions with other people aside from work. And like,
Yeah.
that's not enough. It's not enough to like sustain somebody and like feel not fulfilled, but like that's part of it is like you run on empty and you chug along because it's our default is like, it doesn't matter how good or bad I feel, like I'm still going to get it done, everything's still going to get taken care of, like it's fine. And I think it's for
Yeah.
a lot of moms, it's that way. Is like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where I'm at mentally or emotionally, like it's just going to get, the job's going to get done because it's how we run.
Hmm.
But being able to like stop and smell the roses is so much harder sometimes than people realize.
And I like really tried to be as present as I could, like Sunday with that whole kind of like day. Like my girlfriend picked me up with her daughter and we went and like shopped around and went for dinner. And I was really trying to like, because you know, you'll put things in the calendar and then before you know it, they're like here. And then you're like, oh shit, that like came really quick. Like Audrey's little birthday party and the Benson, we booked the Benson Boone stuff like maybe 3 months ago. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dang it, it's already here. So it's like I will find those moments where I'm like in it and I'm like, okay, like enjoy it instead of thinking about, you know, how late we're going to get back and how hard that will be throughout the week for a couple days. Like just enjoy it and see this through Audrey's little eyes and see how much like she's loving this. Like she said to me today again, she goes, she crawled into her bed and she goes, I mean, I'm never going to forget that day that I got to like go to Benson Boone and like it was the best day of my life. And I was like, that, I hope that's little moments that she remembers forever. And it's like,
Right.
you know, when you think about the youth sports stuff and when you're really fully in it, I think the hardest thing for the parents is it's always like, what's next? What's next? Where are we going? What's the next best thing? When's the next lesson? When's the next tournament? When's the next piece of gear that I need to buy you?
Yeah.
Um, it's always on that like hamster wheel instead of fully just being able to like you said, have that conversation with your kid. How is this? How's everything going? It it's hard not to get locked up in that. My brain does the same thing. Oh, we have an off day. Okay, well, Andrew, yesterday, will you take Maddie to the cages and hit and pitch with her?
Yeah.
So hard, right? And she's fine. Like she went and she did it, and I took Audrey to soccer, and it was great. And then we got to come and have dinner at home and watch a baseball game and just sit, and it was great. It was later, but it's just trying to be like intentional. And yeah, could I have said like Maddie doesn't need to do anything tonight, let her just chill? Totally. But I also think maybe I'm built different when it comes to that stuff. Like I've said, like it's at times it's not really the option. It's like, hey, this is what we have planned, and then you get to come home and you get to do XYZ. But I don't know. I feel like you get how many years to potentially play in college if that's what you want to do, right? Like
Mhm.
you get 4 years, maybe five if you have a red shirt year, and that's it. And that's even if you're a part of the top 1% of the athletes that get the opportunities to even do that. Or let's say your kid is burnt out by the time they're 16 or 17, and that may not even be something that they want to sniff. So it's like, I just don't want to look back and be like, wow, there was so much time wasted hoping that these dreams work themselves out. Like it needs to be a daily grind for us in the sense where like, yeah, do I want my kids to potentially get the opportunity to play in college if that's what they wanted to do and they were good enough? Hell yeah, I do, because it's the best thing that you could ever do. Like getting to compete and do that, incredible. But I also think that like the lessons and the shit that they go through sports
Mhm.
are what give them the tools to be strong human beings in their everyday life. So I look at like that because I know how hard it is to play in college. You hope you give your kids the best chance to fulfill their dreams if they want. You know, it's different for female athletes. There's not a whole um, lot to be playing into your late 40s and 50s. You know, you hope that
We're not built
the
like those
AUSL,
Australians. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like you want AUSL to continue to keep like flourishing and give these little girls the biggest dreams to look up to. Like I was on TikTok the other day and found Kaya Parnaby and like she's over there grinding in Japan. I think year 10. Like you just love to see that there's just those women and those Aussies, man, they go hard in Japan.
They
Stacey
really
Porter
do.
was over there
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
She may still even be playing over there. But women have to maximize their time a little bit more when it comes to like potentially the college stuff when you think about it because maybe they don't get the same NIL opportunities, maybe they don't get the opportunities to play professionally, so it's like what
Mhm.
are we getting out of it, what did you really love about your journey through sports, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And it's a piece of it too is also it's always good to be striving for something, to have a goal, to have something that you're working to achieve. But like there's a way of also not getting so consumed with an unattainable destination either. Like you want your kids when they get to college to be able to embrace and enjoy and really just figure out who they are. Like that's the whole goal of college, right? Is like you get there as an 18-year-old and it's literally launching you into adulthood. The first time maybe you're like doing your own laundry or having to worry about like what I should or should not be eating. Like it's potentially the first time you're experiencing all of that. And then by the time you leave, they expect you to just like, okay, now you have to go be an adult, like go do the thing now. So it's like you
Yeah.
want them to be able to enjoy that and really have time to like sit in who they want to be and what it's going to take to get there. But
Yeah.
if they don't have the tools and they don't have the perspective to understand that like it's temporary or this is going to end someday, if you're going through practices and games and lessons and all of these things and you're in a state of mind that is not rushed, but like anxious and tired and like frustrated all the time, they're going to
Yeah.
feel that, right? And they're going to expect that that's normal. They're going to think that that's how I should be going through life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like this is how people are supposed to feel all the time. So it's like if you're putting yourself in that situation where your cup isn't full and you can't go through it and drive to practice with the music blasting and like singing golden with your kids and like having
Yeah.
like a K-pop concert in the car and just enjoying those moments,
Yeah.
they're not going to either, right? They're going to dread going to practice, they're going to dread doing all these things, and they're going to see that's going to change the perspective for them on these
Yeah.
things that you're having them do. Instead of seeing it as like a positive and something good to go to, they will start to feel that, and that
Yeah.
will continue as they go through life. They're going to dread driving to work, they're going to dread going to work out, right? So
Yeah.
like we have to be really careful about how we're framing these things that we have to do. I remind Mike too, like he sometimes is like, oh, I got to go to practice. Oh, I didn't have time to work out. And like he gets flustered and I'm like, take a breath,
Yeah.
be frustrated about it for a minute. And then you have to let it go because the minute you get in that car, he's like, all right,
Yeah.
it's time to jam. Like, and then he switches and like they have their guy time, like on the way to practice. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it's so important for them because
Yeah.
if they don't have that, yeah,
It's a really good reminder though to like hear that. You're spot on. 'Cause sometimes you're going and you're just in it and it's all of it. I think too from the outside, like looking in, there's so many different pressures that so many different people feel, right? Parents, athletes that maybe are just beginning have this innocence and love for sports, which is so fun and why you start to play. And then you start to get pretty serious and stuff starts to get kind of cutthroat. You're on different teams that want to win, winners win. And when you
yeah.
win, you get noticed. And when you perform well, people start to recognize that. And I think everything is felt so much deeper and more sped up because of like the internet and seeing things, right? It's like, you're seeing all these college kids sign their letter of intent and go to their different schools. And like, I'm checking out the ones that are going to UW. And like, so if you're seeing that as a parent, as an athlete, and you still have a couple years to go to when that is potentially coming up or is it not coming up, like you have all the pressures of needing to continue to perform at a high level without actually knowing where you're going yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it can kind of feel like maybe you are on autopilot and you're just going through the motion. And the hardest thing is really being able to go into a workout with the intention of like, shit, I got to get better today. I'm not just doing it to go through the motions.
Right.
And that's where the burnout is a real thing because you have a lot of athletes that start to taper into one sport at a younger age where that is their grind all the time. What is your outlet in the sports world if you don't necessarily get the opportunity to play something else, right? So it's like a good day weighs heavier because it's all you do. When you play basketball, when you get to play soccer, when you get to do all these other things, shit, I can take my aggression out under the hoops, under the boards. I can go block someone out. Like I love watching my girls play basketball. I know I say this all the time, but I said this to Maddie. if someone knocks your ass out under the boards and you feel that, I see that competitor come out in you where you're like, hell nah, like, let's go. Like, I got you. I will block your ass out. I will get that ball. How do we replicate that in the circle? Like, we
Hmm.
had that conversation, right? So, like, I can bring in other sports of how you can feel really like a badass and a competitor.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're alone in the circle and you have these moments of like everyone's looking at me, I have to execute a big pitch. Where's the bulldog, badass chick under the boards? It's like, F you, let's go. I got you. I am trying to instill that through other sports too. Because she does the same thing with soccer. Like if someone takes out one of her teammates, or there's another big girl on the soccer team that does something that isn't great, she doesn't go intentionally hurt them, but she'll go let them know, like, you're not going to push my teammates around. You're definitely not going to push me around.
Hmm.
Like that allows for you to carry yourself a little taller. And those two sports that are a lot more physical, softball's not really physical that way.
Yeah.
But you can beam someone as a pitcher, like I'll hit you. They don't do that as much anymore. Fine. I don't
A
think that they
lost art.
should.
It's a lost art.
Yeah. But I want to see that piece, not to like go way off topic, but like I definitely have those conversations with like Maddie about that. So it's like that to me is also what allows for athletes to figure out who they are by getting to compete in all the things.
Hmm.
So when you're still trying to figure out if you're going to play, college softball and you're in the midst of like, do I want to go to this school, this school? I'm going on all these different trips. I still feel like if you get the opportunity to compete, it doesn't even have to be at the highest level, dude. You could just play high school basketball, just you could go run track, whatever the case may be. I couldn't be more against just one sport athletes because of the burnout, because you just feel like you're going through the motions so much. Because what's expected of the athlete is far greater than what you and I had to do. And we
Hmm.
had to work harder than most to get into where we were at. I was not highly recruited. Like
Hmm.
my back was always against the wall being that Canadian, like first Canadian to play at UW. That wasn't even like an opportunity for Canadians before,
Yeah.
So it's like had to work really hard to get seen. And I feel like now it's even harder because they are looking at all their numbers and their spin rates and their speed from first to second and their mechanics on every level. It's to where you're picked apart
And
to the
there's like
point.
too much exposure. Yeah.
It's
Like there's
so
too much
much.
of it, like to see. Yeah. And to pick through and to, the criteria keeps changing. Is like when it was us and we would send a video, it's like we have these like the ones that they would watch, like it wasn't as, I don't want to say like, it wasn't like murky, but it was like now there's so many players with so much footage, with so many
Overwhelming.
opportunities for mistakes and exposure like that. It's a lot for them.
It's so much, right? So it's like as a
Yeah.
parent, like, oh my God, this girl signed to go to Cal this week. This one's going to Oklahoma. My daughter's a year behind them. Is my daughter as good? Like, what is that gal doing that my daughter isn't doing? Bro, we got to stay in our lane. What makes my kid great at what she does? Right? Like really being able to put them in environments where they are able to compete and continue to get better. And when the moments are there that you have, whether it's college coaches, you're playing against some of the best teams in the country, whatever it may be, that's your time. And you hope that you give them the nuggets through all the things to be able to thrive under pressure, because that's ultimately what youth sports always comes down to. When you play the
Yeah.
best teams, you need to be able to perform well. And can you? And you see the ones that at times maybe struggle with it. And then it's also a sport of failure too. And I say that
Mhm.
to athletes all the time. Like I used to love when I was in spots where I knew if there was a college coach there. I loved that feeling in my gut of like, shit, they're here and they're watching. Like, watch me work. I loved that. Not everyone thrives on that feeling of those moments where you're getting watched and they're either going to say that they love it or they hate it. But it's all the things that come with it, right? It's the mannerisms after failure. It's the mannerisms after games, how we're communicating with coaches, parents, eye contact. Like those are all the easy things that people aren't doing as much anymore, I would say. There's more of like you owe me instead of like I owe the game. We always respect and owe the game all the things because it never know who's supposed to win when you set out on the field, right?
Yeah.
So always keeping in mind that even when we do fail, how we choose to go about it really does matter. Like, not that we need to be all smiling in the dugout, because I'll be damned if my ass got lit, then I'm going to be in the dugout all happy. But you bet your ass, like, I will still cheer my teammates on and try to like put them in a position to be successful. Because if the
Right.
team's successful, I am. Hard to feel that when you feel like you failed. But the tools and the work is the work. Like what you put into it is what you get out of it, whether you do good or you do bad,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Alo said that last week on the podcast, like when she'd go into moments where it was base loaded, like she was in a position in both those scenarios to
The
be able to
outcomes.
accept,
Right.
yeah, like have to be able to accept both outcomes. Same thing when you pitching, hitting in a big moment, have to step up, make a big ground ball at the middle, have to be able to accept the good and the bad that come with that. Have I put in enough reps to be confident enough to land on if this happens, I'm good.
Right.
If this happens, it doesn't feel good, but shit, I want to be back in that situation because I feel like I'm going to be able to be different,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole with it, but I have a lot of empathy for the families and the athletes that are really just in it because there's just so much to navigate through all of it. That's really all, myself included, trying to navigate it.
Well, yeah, because I think we're getting the perspective now of like, and I don't want to say that like my upbringing was similar to like what my kids are getting because it was very different than what
Yeah.
we're giving them
Yeah.
in a good way. Like we're really trying to maintain a specific like the routines and the expectations, but also the support and the like unwavering like if this is what you want to do, we're going to do it, but like understand that when you say yes, we're not going to then let you say no. Like you're committing to this. But
Yeah.
like now we're getting this the other end of it is like we're dedicating our time and our energy and our
Yeah.
potential like vacations and all of these things to ensure their success, which you know at the end of the day that's what all the athletes do, right? They think their mom and dad, well hopefully, but like being the mom and dad that are now sacrificing all these things, I think it's just kind of flipped that a little bit. And I think we're lucky because we have understanding of like the mental piece of what they're going through in a way. So we
Yeah.
understand that like what our what we say and how we approach things with them in those sports, in those extracurriculars will affect them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like we have this opportunity to make this the most memorable and fun and worthwhile childhood that we can possibly make it for them, right? Like
Yeah.
we've been given this opportunity to raise these little humans and like let them look back on their life and be like, I got to go to a Benson Boone concert.
Yeah.
My mom did
Totally.
that for me, right? Like she made that happen for me. And so it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know, you look at them and you're like, I made that. Like I made that little human. And now I'm the one that's in charge of like making sure I don't want to say that they're not damaged because everybody's got their own issues, but like it's our job to like instill the best possible, you know, they can look back on and like
Yeah.
really be appreciative of like what that was. That's
You
heavy.
gotta, you have to raise them right because the world sucks. People are
People
assholes.
suck. Yeah.
People suck. Like, and shit, you have to have thick skin more than we ever had to grow up with. We didn't grow up with the internet. You didn't grow up with, I mean, there were still mean people. Don't get me wrong.
But it was
Shit.
just words and they were just words and they were easily forgettable and they went away and it was
Yeah.
not as permanent as it can be today.
Yeah. It feels different. I have been telling my girls from the time Maddie started going to kindergarten. And maybe it sounds harsh, but I remember my dad always saying this to my brother and I, like, when you go to school today, I don't say this every day because they know it, but like, you make sure that you don't take any crap from anyone. You
Right.
always stand up for yourself, but more importantly, like, you make sure you stand up for other people, your people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then when they're both in school, like my dad used to say that all the time because there was times like I would definitely get, I mean, a little bit of bullying and just kind of made fun of being bigger, stronger, really good at sports, super tomboyish.
Softball
Yeah,
player. Yeah.
totally. Like it was definitely this stigma around it
Stereotype.
and
Yeah.
hung out with boys more than the girls. And so like I would get made fun of. And I remember my dad would say to my brother when because in Canada, we go to school from grade 8 through grade 12. We don't have middle school. So like my brother was there overlapping with me for a couple years. And he would always say, like, if you see anything that's happening to your sister. And I remember one time my dad used to always take us to the pool at night. My mom would make dinner, we'd go to the pool, come back, and like dinner would be ready. And there was this one kid every time I saw at the pool that would make fun of me like crazy. And my dad said, like, if you see that kid, you make sure that like that you go and you have your sister's back. My brother, he heard something. He cold cocked this kid, blood everywhere, everyone out of the pool, like, and like secretly, I can see my dad over there being like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, not that we want to say violence is the answer. I'm not saying that. Boys are different. I don't teach my girls to go and hit. Boys do different things. You have two boys, you know what? I see my nephews. Boys are different. Like, they can go and wrestle and do a little punch. But in that moment, I was like, thank you. I love you for that. Like,
So
that kid
yeah,
never did
sometimes
that again.
it's a little bit of like that playground, like it needs to be a little bit of that playground mentality is like you if you're gonna have the, cojones to say something to me, you better be prepared for
Yeah.
what's coming back. And like it good job, big bro. Because I
Well,
would
and
expect the same thing out of my boys, is if they heard
yeah.
to each other, to their sisters, whatever, it's you guys can be terrible to each other behind doors, that's fine. But when you're outside, when you're with other people, like they're your ride or dies. That's your tribe that you protect no matter what. So
Yeah.
same thing.
And if I ever find out you are a bully or the bully,
Yes.
that's when all
All
hell will
bets
break
loose.
loose in
Mm-hmm.
this household. And both my girls know that. Because I always, and I think I've said this on the podcast before, if there's ever an issue at school or something, which there hasn't been, but my girls would be like, oh, well, this person said this. And I automatically make that it be known, like, okay, well, what did you play in this? What did
What was your
you
role? Mm-hmm.
do to allow for this to like happen? I got your back, but like we're not always innocent throughout all of this. But the bullying thing, I will never stand for. From someone that kind of went through it a little bit, as far as like being bullied and remembering what that felt like, feels harder now than ever with all these kids and their stupid phones and their
Mm-hmm.
video cameras and all the things. So I allow for my kids to have each other's backs, stand up for themselves. I don't want them to hit unless someone hits them first.
Right.
I've
You don't
said
start it,
that.
you always finish it.
Mm-mm.
100%.
No. And make sure you're not the one that's bullying, or we're probably going to be living in our bedrooms, just going to school and coming home. And I'll take everything out of your room. It'll be like a mini prison.
Yeah. Easily.
Don't mess with that. Don't
No.
mess with me. So, yeah, I feel, a lot. We kind of word vomited a lot, but mom's tired today. And these were the
Yeah.
things I felt like I
It's
was
it's it's
about.
appropriate. I feel like we kind of like, you go back to school, you go through your routine and like it's thriving for a while and then all of a sudden it kind of all hits you at once. Like it's
Yeah.
consistently 7 days a week. It's a lot. Um they had baseball practice on Sunday because,
Mm,
it's their club now, double A, whatever you want to call
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So they practice at 12 and church is a big thing in Texas. So we always try and make it like a little bit later in the afternoon. And
Hmm.
then he's always worried, like it's middle of Sunday, like we're taking people Sundays. I'm like, it's different when it's like, if it's practice and you're making it like a meaningful practice, it's not a practice where they're just getting screamed at the whole time. They
Yeah.
practice at this field that's a little bit more sandlot ish. We call it the
Yeah.
sandlot because it looks like that. It's got like houses all around it. It's
Yeah.
awesome. And like I get there later, I brought popsicles for the boys after practice because I was like, it's like one of the last hot days. We're about to hit fall. And these boys came off and they were just covered. Like they had dirt on their faces. They were like had been sliding. They were doing base running and all this stuff. And they all had these big old smiles on their faces. And then they saw the
Yeah.
popsicles and it was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
And it was like, that's the kind of stuff that like at the end of the day, yes, we want to build these athletes. Yes, we want to like we want them to make good choices, but like don't forget that they're kids. Like,
yeah.
they're just kids. They just want to have fun. They just want to like live their lives and like worry about like Pokemon cards or whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
we don't have to make their world seem so big and scary. Like it's okay for them to just be little. Like let them be little sometimes. And
Yeah.
I think maybe you see that, like you saw that at the concert, like you just saw her just like be a
Mm.
kid, like
Yeah.
in that moment. And
Yeah.
it's hard because we push them to be big in sports. So like when
I,
you get a moment to like watch that magic a little bit,
it's great.
yeah.
Because it is, Maddie seems so much older than
Mhm.
Audrey. And I find myself like wanting the little because they're still so, and it's like Audrey wants to hang out with me all the time. Like she isn't snappy at me. She doesn't really have an attitude, like all of those things. And I'm like, wow, I really appreciate that you're still really little. Like Maddie's like a little independent woman. She can kind of do her own thing. She gets herself ready. She doesn't look like an 11-year-old. So it's
Mhm.
just, I love that thing that you said of just like keeping them like innocent. I feel like Audrey's still innocent. Maddie doesn't have social media. She doesn't have all those things, but she just seems older than an
It's a
11 year
big
old.
sis.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
part of it too. The oldest always has it the roughest because we expect a lot out of them. So
Yeah.
it's nice when we get to, whether they succeed or they do something good at sports and then they look to us and they've got that big smile on their face, or like, they
Yeah.
come home and they're excited about something that happened at school. It's don't downplay those moments because they get fewer and farther between, and they also are temporary because
Yeah.
they are gonna, like, what I think I saw something where it was like the hardest thing to do is to teach somebody to live without you and then them be able to do it.
Ugh.
Right? Like, oh, like right in the heart. It was worded much better than the way that I said it, but it was essentially it's what we do as moms, right? We raise these kids and we show them how to be independent and do all these things without us, and then they can, and it's like, but wait, like I still want to do those things for you sometimes. And
Yeah.
so it's just, I think this week it was just a reminder for us to just, slow down, smell the roses,
Yeah.
enjoy the journey. So it was a good reminder.
Yeah. I, yeah. The body's a little fuego today. I think the high rock stuff is great. I think sometimes it's more challenging on me in a good way, but it's taught me. I mean, I got to put in the work and do the stuff because I can't go into a competition knowing that I didn't do all the things that I needed to do. Maybe that is the competitor in me knowing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like last night, wasn't supposed to go to soccer. I was going to take Maddie to the cage. It flip flopped. And I'm like, oh, well, I have an hour 20 to myself. That's the perfect time to make sure that I can go get a run in because an hour 20 at practice where I'm doing nothing, I either sit in the chair or I go and like I move my body. And it was hard, but I don't know. This whole stuff has been really, really cool for me to do because like I said, I haven't tried to train this hard mentally, physically since like the Olympic stuff. And I wasn't in a state of mind to want to do it after the Olympics for a couple of years outside of the expected. I go to the gym with my buddies, we get after it. This is like some deep thoughts in my head while I'm doing this stuff. Like, shit, this is hard. Am I going to be able to do this at a really high level? I want to compete at a high level. I'm also a realist and know I'm not going to be able to compete with certain categories of athletes because this is what they do for a living. But I just want to give myself the best shot to go and be successful. But that's also what I know these kids are doing on a daily basis when they're training and they're working and they're going, like they're going to practice. Like
Yeah.
it's with the intention of in games being able to go and win. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just been a different grind, I think, on me mentally than maybe I thought it was going to be. Not good or
Little hum
bad,
babe. Yeah.
just some humbling moments of like, shit, I'm putting in the work. It's hard. This is not, and it seems sometimes like you're doing it for like nothing. Like I'm not, there's no Olympics. There's no, I'm doing it.
You're
So
doing it for the sake of saying that you did it.
yeah, which is weird too. Cause you're like, so why put so much time and energy
Right.
into that? But I also think it's hard sometimes to take that shit out of those types of athletes.
It's ingrained in you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard because if I scale back, I'm almost like, well, I'm not doing what I need to do. And on race day, that's what I'll remember. So it's that I think has mentally been harder on me too, to add to the stress of just everything, right? On days where you don't want to do anything, you're like, fuck, we gotta go. Let's go. We
Mm-hmm.
gotta do it. I gotta do it. So Not to damper this with more High Rocks conversations, but it has been a big part of my
It's a
life with
big
you.
part of your life right now. That's the whole point, right? We're in it. That's the right way to say it. But thanks for listening in, guys. We will be back next week, and we hope you guys have a good one.